Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and welcome to another exciting edition of Striving for It All. This is the program that gets you caught up on anything and everything happening around the WNBA. Coming up on this edition of the program, we'll give you a look at the current league leaders and standings and a look ahead to the week's upcoming games in the WNBA. So it should be a lot of fun. So that's what's coming up on this edition of the program. I want to start off with my top three storylines. I like to start off talking about the New York Liberty. Since the All-Star break, the Liberty have been on fire. Actually, the Liberty have been on fire before the All-Star break, and since the All-Star break, they have so far picked up right where they left off at. In the month of June, they went 7-3, and so far as this show is airing, during the month of July, they've gone 6-1. I got to tell you, Breanna Stewart is a league MVP candidate. She's actually one of the leading MVP candidates, I should say. Breanna, since she stepped foot and put on that New York Liberty uniform, she has been outstanding, getting it done in scoring, rebounding. And, of course, you can't forget about Jonquel Jones. Jonquel, had some injury problems early on in the year, but, hey, she's making her way back and doing her part on the rebounding side, getting points in the paint. Courtney Vandersloot doing what she does best, being a floor general. And, of course, Sabrina Ionescu handling her business, doing what she does best, coming off of that amazing three-point shootout performance at the All-Star weekend this past weekend. And, of course, Betnijah Laney doing her part, putting up points. So the New York Liberty, they're only 5 games behind the Las Vegas Aces for the number 1 seed in the WNBA standings. And certainly it's been the Liberty, they're on the heels of the Aces, but the Aces have just continued to win. They've continued to put up a winning streak, and also the Connecticut Sun are not too far behind either. But, man, the Liberty, they played some great ball as of late, as I mentioned earlier, with Breanna Stewart being a leading MVP candidate. Also, you've got Jonquel Jones, Courtney Vandersloot, Betnijah Laney, of course, Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, this team is definitely poised to make a postseason run. Last year, you saw flashes of it, but this year, it looks like they're going over the hump and taking that next step to be champions and to have that championship pedigree, and they're trying to get it together with this nucleus that they have with Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu and the rest of the cast of characters. Is certainly they're poised for success, and certainly Sandy Brondello is a candidate for WNBA Coach of the Year, and certainly she's done an amazing job in only her second year as the head coach of the New York Liberty. My next storyline is going to be the Las Vegas Aces. Hey, what's not to love about the Aces, right? Currently, they have the best record in the WNBA with a record of 21-2. Everybody's just clicking on all cylinders. The team is just unstoppable. During the month of June, they had a record of 10-1. So far in the month of July, they have a record of 8-1. And since the All-Star break, again, similar to New York, they have not slowed down. And certainly, how can you not slow down with a roster with the likes of Asia Wilson, who's, again, a leading MVP candidate this year? You've also got Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray. Also, you got Kia Stokes, just to name a few. And also, you got Alicia Clark providing the defense. This team from start to finish is just outstanding. Unfortunately, they had a setback, which I'll get into in just a little bit. But, man, Becky Hammon, again, no signs of slowing down again. A candidate again for this year's Coach of the Year. Again, Becky Hammon, she wound up winning the WNBA Coach of the Year last year, and certainly somebody that has a pedigree as a player and someone that's continued to show that pedigree as a coach. And, man, the Aces are just They can't be stopped right now. The Aces are just so on point. And even with the setback that I'll get into it just a little bit, man, the Aces, they've got the weapons, they've got the depth, and it's just they have no signs of slowing down anytime soon. And the Aces, they've got some challenges coming up against the New York Liberty. They're going to play them at least 3 times in the month of August. So that should be an exciting matchup coming up, which may be a preview of this year's WNBA championship. But right now, just like the Liberty, the Aces are just clicking on all cylinders. And really, the Aces have been clicking on all cylinders all season long. But, man, as they say, the best gets better, and the best just continues to get better for the Las Vegas Aces. And for my last storyline is going to be CandaceParker. So we talked about the Las Vegas Aces with the possibility of returning to the WNBA championship with a chance to repeat. And they hit a bump in the road this week with CandaceParker having successful injury on a fracture in her left foot. Now, Candace, during this last offseason, signed a 1-year contract with the Aces and just continued to add to the already talented squad that Las Vegas has. Well, unfortunately, they had a setback this past week with Candace having the surgery on a fractured left foot. The surgery was successful, but there's no timetable on when she will return. Listen, she's going to be ready to come back. You know, Candace is a competitor. She's going to come back. You know, she has that competitive fire. She's been doing it for so long. Multiple Olympic gold medals, multiple WNBA championships, all-star games. The list goes on and on for Candace. You know her resume. You know her accomplishments. So the Aces, I'm pretty sure with the depth that they have, they're not going to hurry her to come back and play. I mean, they're going to let her decide when she wants to play. Again, there's no definite timetable for her return. But I tell you one thing, if you know the Las Vegas Aces, you know Becky Hammond, you know the depth that they have on their team, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. There's no doubt in my mind. When you've got Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray, and when you've got Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, you've also got Kia Stokes. And, of course, they're still waiting on Bebe Williams to return. She's been battling a back injury, but they still have the depth. They still have the weapons. They're still a very well-coached team. So there's no doubt in my mind that the Aces, well, they'll be smooth sailing without CandaceParker. And, of course, Alicia Clark, who's going to come in and bring her defense, and Kia Stokes brings her defense and the rebounding as well. I'm pretty sure, at least in my mind, that the Aces won't miss a beat. Then they'll have no problems whenever Candace is ready to return. All right, when we come back from the break, we'll give you the recap of the week that was in the WNBA, and we'll also give you a look at the current league leaders and standings in the WNBA. That's coming up after the break. I'm Ed Robinson, and you're listening to Striving for It All.
Said it could be some kind of food allergy.
My muscles ached. I was tired all the time.
It happened like that, a full-blown asthma attack. It was scary.
The unsettling thing about some symptoms is
a fever, headaches. I have these red, itchy welts.
You don't always know what's causing them.
It was Lyme disease from a tick bite.
I had West Nile virus from a mosquito.
A reaction triggered by cockroach allergens.
Bed bugs.
Threats to your health can come from the most unexpected places. Mosquitoes can transmit West Nile virus and also Zika virus. Ticks can carry Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And allergens from cockroaches can trigger asthma attacks, leading to respiratory distress. Don't wait until you or someone you love is suffering with unexplained symptoms. Get the facts you need to protect your family. Visit pestworld.org.
When it comes to our children and families, we do everything we can to play it safe. Did you know? The single best way to help safeguard from flu and reduce the spread of the flu virus is through annual vaccination. Families Fighting Flu is devoted to protecting your family against this serious and potentially deadly disease. Our commitment comes from our organization's personal experiences. I lost my 5-year-old healthy son Joseph to the flu. The flu poses a serious risk to everyone, from the young to the elderly. But we know that flu vaccines can save lives. Increasing the number of flu vaccinations by just 5% could prevent nearly 800,000 illnesses and 10,000 hospitalizations. Help keep your family and your community safe. Together, we can fight the flu. Get yourself and your family vaccinated this year and every year. For facts and tools, visit familiesfightingflu.org.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the program. Now it's time for a recap of the week that was in the WNBA. Let's start off with action from Tuesday, July the 18th. The ladies were coming back after the All-Star break, and we had the Minnesota Lynx going up against the Atlanta Dream. Atlanta would beat Minnesota 82-73. For the Dream, Ryan Howard scored 21 points. Also, A.D. Durr finished with 13 points. Also, Nia Coffey had a double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds, and Alicia Gray had 12 points. Again, the final score was Atlanta 82, Minnesota 73. The Phoenix Mercury would go on to beat the Connecticut Sun. Final score 72-66. For the Mercury, Sophie Cunningham finished with 17 points. Diana Taurasi finished with 15 points. Brittany Griner had 12 points, and Moriah Jefferson had 11 points. Again, the final score was Phoenix 72, Connecticut 66. We move along now to action from Wednesday, July the 19th. We had the Indiana Fever going up against the Washington Mystics. Indiana would win 82-76. For the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell finished with 18 points. Also, we had Aaliyah Boston and Victoria Vivians both scored 11 points. We also had Emma Cannon finish with 13 points, and Erica Wheeler had 10 points. Again, the final score, Indiana 82, Washington 76. We had the Dallas Wings go up against the New York Liberty. Dallas would go on to win 98-88. What a great year for Arike Ogunbowale. She's going to be an MVP candidate this year as well. She finished with 25 points. Tiara McCowan and Satu Sabali both scored 15 points. Natasha Howard would finish with 14 points. Again, the final score, Dallas 98, New York 88. We move along now to action from Thursday, July the 20th. We had the Connecticut Sun take on the Atlanta Dream. Connecticut would win 82-71. For Connecticut, Natisha Heidemann scored 24 points. Rebecca Allen and Dewana Bonners both scored 13 points. And Alyssa Thomas had a double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds. Again, the final score, Connecticut 82, Atlanta 71. We had the Minnesota Lynx go up against the Los Angeles Sparks. Minnesota would win a close one, final score 73-70. You know, you talk about one of the premier stars in the WNBA and one of the premier stars in women's basketball. She's been doing her thing for a minute now, and that's Napheesa Collier. Napheesa had a great performance in this game. She finished with 22 points. And if you had not had a chance to watch the Minnesota Lynx play this year, you're missing out on a treat because Napheesa has been doing her thing. Here's Napheesa in action against the Sparks.
Miller cuts to the basket, again collapsed upon, finds Collier, and she finishes plus the foul. 2 points in 16 minutes, and Collier scoring easily. Beautiful offense. McBride takes it away. Up ahead to Collier, and she's got it, and one. Good double team. It was a difficult shot, and that's what the Lynx wanted to do, is make it difficult. Speaking of difficult, it doesn't matter for Napheesa Collier. Collier gets around Brown, and the layup.
All right, that audio courtesy of the WNBA and Amazon Prime Video. So again, Napheesa Collier would score 22 points. Dorka Juhas had a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds. And Diamond Miller finished with 13 points. Again, the final score, Minnesota 73, Los Angeles 70. We also had another action from Thursday, July the 20th. We had the Phoenix Mercury go up against the Chicago Sky. Phoenix would win 80-62. Shea Petty finished with 20 points. Megan Gustafson finished with 12 points. Also, Brittany Griner had a double-double with 12 points to go along with 11 rebounds. And Alicia Sutton finished with 11 points. Again, the final score, Phoenix 80, Chicago 62. And we have the Las Vegas Aces take care of their business, beating the Seattle Storm 79-63. For the Aces, Asia Wilson, again, another MVP candidate this year. She's a reigning two-time league MVP. Asia had a double-double with 23 points and 15 rebounds. Also, Jackie Young finished with 22 points, and Kelsey Plum finished with 20 points. Again, the final score was Las Vegas 79, Seattle 63. We move along now to action from Friday, July the 21st. The New York Liberty taking on the Washington Mystics. The Liberty would go on to win 96-87. For the Liberty, Jonquel Jones had a double-double with 27 points and 11 rebounds. Brianna Stewart. What's not to love about Brianna, right? She had a double-double with 24 points, 10 rebounds. Sabrina Ionescu had a double-double with 16 points and 11 rebounds. And Courtney Vandersloot finished with 12 points. So, again, the final score was New York 96, Washington 87. We had action from Saturday, July the 22nd, with the Connecticut Sun going up against the Atlanta Dream. Connecticut was going to win 86-78. DeWanna Bonner finished with 20 points. Alyssa Thomas had a double-double with 15 points and 11 rebounds. Natisha Heidemann finished with 15 points. Rebecca Allen would go on to have 11 points, and Tiffany Hayes would finish with 10 points. Again, the final score was Connecticut 86, Atlanta 78. The Las Vegas Aces were going to beat the Minnesota Lynx 98-81. For the Aces, Asia Wilson, what a sensational game she had. She had a double-double with 35 points and 14 rebounds. Also, Jackie Young finished with 19 points. Kelsey Plum finished with 16 points. Chelsea Gray had a double-double with 11 points and 11 assists. And Alicia Clark finished with 11 points. Again, the final score was Las Vegas 98, Minnesota 81. The Los Angeles Sparks would go up against the Dallas Wings. Dallas would go on to win 98-84. For Dallas, Natasha Howard had a double-double with 28 points and 11 rebounds. Satu Sabali also had a double-double with 26 points and 11 rebounds. And Arike Ogunbowale finished with 25 points. Again, the final score was Dallas 98, Los Angeles 84. And then we had the Chicago Sky going up against the Seattle Storm. Chicago would win 90-75. For Chicago, Kalia Copper finished with 29 points. Marina Mabry finished with 22 points. And Elena Smith would go on to grab 17 rebounds. Elena definitely handled her business in this game. And again, the final score was Chicago 90, Seattle 75. And then finally, from action from Sunday, July the 23rd, we had the Washington Mystics going up against the Phoenix Mercury. Washington would go on to win 84-69. For the Mystics, Brittany Sykes and Natasha Cloud both had 23 points. And Shatori Walker-Kimbrough would finish with 13 points. Again, the final score was Washington 84, Phoenix 69. And then finally, we had the Indiana Fever going up against the New York Liberty. New York handled their business, beating Indiana 101-83. For the Liberty, Betnijah Laney finished with 22 points. Jonquel Jones had a double-double with 18 points and 11 rebounds. Sabrina Ionescu and Maureen Johannes both scored they both scored 12 points. Brianna Stewart finished with 11 points, and Kayla Thornton finished with 10 points. And again, the final score was New York 101, Indiana 83. And that was a recap of the week that was in the WNBA. All right, so before we get to the league leaders and the standings, let's give you an update on the Player of the Week award winners. Let's start off for the week of July the 13th. For the third time this year, Brianna Stewart from the New York Liberty was named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. And also in the Western Conference, Natasha Howard from the Dallas Wings wins the Western Conference Player of the Week award. So again, congratulations to the Eastern Conference Player of the Week award winner for the week of July the 13th. For the third time this year, Brianna Stewart from the New York Liberty, and the Western Conference Player of the Week award winner, Natasha Howard from the Dallas Wings. All right, so now let's go to the current league leaders in the WNBA. Let's start off with points per game. The current league leader in points per game is Jewel Lloyd from the Seattle Storm. Seattle hasn't had a great year this year, but one of the few bright spots for the Storm has been Jewel Lloyd, a.k.a. the Gold Mamba. And I tell you one thing, Jewel, if you didn't get a chance to watch this year's All-Star game, you certainly missed out on a treat, because Jewel provided plenty of highlights. She was amazing. She was outstanding. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Seattle not having a great year this year. But I tell you, one of the few bright spots on that team has been Jewel Lloyd. And again, so far this year, she is the leading scorer in the WNBA. And she's filling a big void, because Sue Bird was the leader of the Seattle Storm for so many seasons. And Jewel is coming to her own now as the leader of that team. And hopefully she can try to help her team try to get some wins before the season ends, because, I mean, Seattle's had a tough run up there in the Pacific Northwest. But again, Jewel Lloyd is the league leader in points per game, the leading scorer in the WNBA. She's averaging 24 points per game. Also, coming in second place, we have Breanna Stewart from the New York Liberty. Coming in third is Arike Ogunbowale from the Dallas Wings. Also, we have Nafisa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx. And then we have Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. The next category that we have is rebounds per game. Coming in at number 1 is Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. She's averaging almost 10 rebounds per game. Coming in at number 2 is Melissa Smith from the Indiana Pacers. At number 3, Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun. At number 4, Breanna Stewart from the New York Liberty. And at number 5 is Nneka Ogwumike from the Los Angeles Sparks. Next category that we have is assists per game. Coming in at number 1 is Courtney Vandersloot from the New York Liberty. She's averaging just over 8 assists per game. Coming in at number 2 is Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun. Coming in at number 3 is Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces. At number 4, Natasha Cloud from the Washington Mystics. And at number 5, Courtney Williams from the Chicago Sky. Next category that we have is steals per game. Coming in at number 1, actually we have a tie for first place. Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun and Brittany Sykes from the Washington Mystics. They're both averaging close to 2 steals a game. Coming in at number 3, Arike Ogunbowale from the Dallas Wings. And then tied for 4th, we have Jordan Canada and Nneka Ogwumike, both representing the Los Angeles Sparks. Next category that we have is blocks per game. Coming in at number 1, Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. She's averaging over 2 blocks per game. Coming in at number 2, Ezi Magbagor from the Seattle Storm. At number 3, Brittany Griner from the Phoenix Mercury. Coming in at number 4, Elizabeth Williams from the Chicago Sky. And at number 5, her teammate, Elena Smith, also representing the Chicago Sky. Next category that we have is field goal percentage. At number 1, the rookie representing the Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah most likely will win this year's Rookie of the Year, at least in my opinion, a lot of people's eyes. She's definitely the top candidate to win this year's Rookie of the Year. Aaliyah is shooting 60% from the field. At number 2, Brittany Griner from the Phoenix Mercury. At number 3, Brianna Jones from the Connecticut Sun. At number 4, Jackie Young from the Las Vegas Aces. At number 5, we have Jonquel Jones from the New York Liberty. Next category is going to be free throw percentage. Coming in at number 1, Elena Deladon from the Washington Mystics. She's shooting 96% from the free throw line. Coming in at number 2, Carly Samuelson from the Los Angeles Sparks. At number 3, her teammate, Jordan Canada, also representing the Sparks. At number 4, Ariel Atkins from the Washington Mystics. And at number 5, Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces. Next category is going to be three-point percentage. At number 1, Jackie Young from the Las Vegas Aces. She's shooting 48% from three-point range. Coming in at number 2, Carly Samuelson from the Carly Samuelson from the Los Angeles Sparks. She's shooting 46% from three-point range. Coming in at number 3, Taisha Harris from the Connecticut Sun. At number 4, Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces. And at number 5, Sabrina Ionescu from the New York Liberty. And the last category that we have is minutes played, or minutes per game, I should say. Coming in at number 1, representing the Dallas Wings, Arike Ogunbowale. She is averaging 37 minutes per game. Coming in at number 2, Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun. She's averaging 36 minutes per game. Coming in at number 3, Jewel Lloyd from the Seattle Storm. She's averaging 35 minutes per game. Coming in at number 4, Brianna Stewart from the New York Liberty. She's averaging 34 minutes per game. And coming in at number 5, Natasha Howard from the Dallas Wings. She's averaging 33.5 minutes per game. And that takes care of the current league leaders in the WNBA. Now it's time for a current look at the standings. Let's start off with, no surprise, coming in first place in the WNBA standings, the Las Vegas Aces. Their current record is 21-2. Coming in at number 2, the New York Liberty. They have a record of 16-5. Coming in at number 3, the Connecticut Sun. They have a record of 17-6. Coming in at number 4, the Dallas Wings. They have a record of 13-9. Coming in 5th place are the Atlanta Dream with a record of 12-10. And the Washington Mystics are in 6th place. They also have a record of 12-10. Coming in 7th place are the Minnesota Lynx with a record of 10-13. The Chicago Sky are in 8th place with a record of 9-13. Coming in 9th place are the Los Angeles Sparks with a record of 7-15. Coming in 10th place are the Indiana Fever, followed in 11th by the Phoenix Mercury, and in last place are the Seattle Storm with a record of 4-18. So that takes care of your league leaders, and that takes care of your current standings in the WNBA. All right, when we come back from the break, we'll give you a look ahead to the week's upcoming games in the WNBA. Should be fun, and it should be exciting. You stay tuned. I'm Ed Robinson, and you're listening to Striving for It All.
Modern life is noisy. Noise is everywhere. Excessive noise is harmful, linked to sleep deprivation, hearing loss, and heart disease. Should noise be the price we pay for progress? Actually, no. Many noise sources have quieter options. Gas-powered landscaping equipment is obsolete, with battery-powered options greatly reducing noise and air pollution. Audible car alarms are obsolete, with vehicle immobilizers and GPS tracking providing silent anti-theft technologies. Quieter backup warning sounds are available, and adjustable directional sounds are less intrusive. So what can you do to reduce noise levels? Talk to store and building managers about safe sound levels. Work with elected officials and the police to strengthen noise enforcement. Join Noise Free America, a coalition to promote quiet.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the program. Okay, before we get on out of here, here's a look ahead to the week's upcoming games in the WNBA. Let's start off with Tuesday, July the 25th. We have the Phoenix Mercury going up against the Atlanta Dream, followed by the Seattle Storm going up against the New York Liberty. The Las Vegas Aces will square off against the Chicago Sky. The Connecticut Sun will square off against the Dallas Wings, and the Indiana Fever will go up against the Los Angeles Sparks. And then on Wednesday, July the 26th, we have the Washington Mystics squaring off against the Minnesota Lynx. On Thursday, July the 27th, we have the Indiana Fever going up against the Los Angeles Sparks, and we have the Atlanta Dream going up against the New York Liberty. On Friday, July the 28th, we have the Minnesota Lynx going up against the New York Liberty, followed by the Seattle Storm going up against the Chicago Sky, and the Washington Mystics going up against the Dallas Wings. On Sunday, July the 30th, we have the Minnesota Lynx going up against the Connecticut Sun, followed by the Washington Mystics going up against the Atlanta Dream. The Phoenix Mercury will square off against the Chicago Sky. The New York Liberty will go up against the Los Angeles Sparks. We have the Seattle Storm going up against the Indiana Fever, and the Dallas Wings will square off against the Las Vegas Aces. And those are your upcoming games for the week in the WNBA. And that's going to do it for another exciting edition of Striving for It All. Until next time, everybody, I'm Ed Robinson saying so long, and you take care. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.